Welcome to the TIMFD podcast. Today is my favorite day is about appreciating every day as it comes, no matter what life throws at us. We hope that this podcast speaks to you, and if it does, please like, share, and comment. Now let's find out why today is our favorite day this week.
Hi everybody, today is my favorite day. This is Sam, Dave, and we're hoping that you guys are having a good day. But today we're going to be talking about something that is kind of difficult.
It is. It can be.
Yeah. And so what we're looking at here is, what is it? What we're looking at? Sorry. I need healing.
Yes,
but go ahead.
That's what we're looking.
Yeah, right.
We're talking about healing. And why?
Let's start over again.
What's that?
All right, good. We're going to keep going here.
Yep.
Because I didn't know what we were talking about at first, and that's okay. But here we go. So we're basically talking about why don't we see the healing we want in our lives, right? So why don't we see that? And Sam, you have an acrostic that you use, healing, a 7-point acrostic that I think would be useful for us. And so could you kind of go through that process, and then we could kind of talk about how it works with different parts of our lives?
So for me, healing is my word of the year for 2023.
That's right. I remember you saying that.
And so there's more than one reason why that's a sermon
that's great.
you
I love that.
sent to me. Yeah. But 2022 was not a great year for me. 2023 is starting off a lot better. But in healing, I was looking at what do I need to change? What do I need to do to accept the healing that God has given me?
Okay.
Now, is some of the healing complete? No, not yet. So the answer there to that prayer is to wait, right? But the first thing, the H, is heart healthy habits. So I had heart issues last year. Okay. And that's eating right. This body is supposed to be a temple. Okay. So I'm doing some things, and
I ate horrible today. By the way, I just want to tell you, went over to McDonald's, had a 8-piece chicken nugget meal, a double cheeseburger, and a Sprite, and I don't feel so good. There we go. I'm paying for it. So I am not doing what you're supposed to do. So, but normally I will. I'll get my workouts in, and we're going to get our eating habits going back like we should. But that's one of the big ones.
Yeah, it is. And I've changed some of my eating habits. Okay. My students here have a tendency to keep me accountable. Oh, yeah. You know, when you ask them to do something. And so we talked about tiny habits here a while ago, and they keep asking, what's my new habit? Well, my new habit, I'm on the third week, and that was no sugar.
Okay, that's tough.
You know how hard that is for me?
It's very hard. It's hard for everybody.
I'm just eating a bowl of ice cream before I go to bed at night. I haven't had one in almost 3 weeks.
It's heroin. Yeah. It's as strong as a heroin addiction. Yeah, it's tough.
So the heart healthy habits, and I need to look at each thing. And, part of that has to do with my healthcare professionals. I have a couple of procedures. Okay.
Gotta work through that.
Yeah. Work through it, right?
So that's one. Then the E is what?
Energized every day.
No, I didn't understand that. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Okay. So one of the things, if I get up in the morning and I don't go right to the Word, and I don't go right into my time of meditation after that and prayer.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Then I'm like all day. If I mess that part of my life up, I have no energy. And then the rest of it is when you're tired, when you're like today, I for some reason I'm getting tired easier, and I think I know what it is after seeing my blood work and things. But here's the thing: you can either keep on going, or you can sit down and take a nap. Now, there are times you probably need the nap, but there are times like today I need to work through it.
You got to keep on going.
You got to grind. Yep, you got to put one foot in front of the other and keep going. So to be energized all day.
Okay.
And so that first off, if you're energized, the people around you are energized.
Yes, they are.
If you're then people around you are.
And there's what goes back to the H, the healthy habits. I know eating, like for today, eating poorly has made me tired. Yeah. And I don't like that. I don't like that feeling. I don't like the whole feel. And that's my thing. So we got healthy habits, things we need to do to energize ourselves and energize the people around us. What would be the A?
The A is active or activate.
Activate, okay.
And that is my mind.
So we're activating our mind. Yeah. So it's the body, good habits there. Yeah. And to get energized through those things, and now you're activating your mind so you could do what?
With growth, spiritual, spiritual, physical, mental, tying everything that we are together. If we don't grow personally, I know you read a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. The statistics tell us 80% of high school graduates never pick up a book after.
Crazy.
It's crazy,
never
isn't it?
Understand
and
that.
I got to believe it's not going to get any better. So
successful people not only read, but they want to learn from a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Because your mind expands.
Yeah.
So is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And that's and if you do that, and it's now, don't give us a hard time because we didn't say you got to read this spiritual book and that spiritual book, because that's not always the way it is.
Things.
There's all sorts of things out there
There's great leadership books that are out there on business. There's business books. There's, if you want to read a novel, if you want to do that.
Yep.
But there's so many how-tos, so many things you can do. And they don't have to be so much spiritual. It could be working on different parts of your life, you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, and there's different experts of that, and it's okay. That's okay to do that.
Yeah, we're not all experts in all areas.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So activate. So we got the healthy habits, you got the energize, the people around you and yourself. You got the activate your mind and get it moving and growing. The L, what is the L?
Live intentionally.
Okay, that's your statement.
Yes.
This is what I hear from them all the time.
All the time. And I sign my emails with that.
Yep.
I do that. And when I got to looking at my life last year, I didn't. I did not intentionally do life.
Okay.
I existed.
Okay.
Okay.
And unfortunately with COVID, that happened a lot.
It did happen. It happens to a lot of people. And
it's
that's
still
why
happening.
That's why I stay with it, because if we live with intentionality, we will get done what God wants us to get done. If we set out each day, I have my mind set right each day. I do the things that God has led me to do. Then I can intentionally go out and be a good witness, a good person. So we have divine appointments every day. If I'm living intentionally, then that person that's walking down the supermarket aisle that looks up and smiles, you smile back, and maybe that's all you needed to do. Maybe that's all you needed to do was to smile back. But then you say, hey, how you doing today? But if you say that and really mean it.
Yeah, the intentionality is I have a mindset of what I'm going to do. And the mindset for me is, how do I present the good news to people? How do I encourage people with encouraging words to lift them up? And how do I serve people? Those are the three things in my wheelhouse that I know I'm going to do. It's right out of the book. Today is my favorite day. It's right out of, I have meaning in my life. And so I get that. That makes sense. The living intentionally makes sense, because that's how we move forward. And so we're now at heal. Okay. So what, the ing, because that means it continues on.
It continues on.
Okay.
So the I is invest in myself.
Okay.
So
does that mean you're training? You get training or something?
Training. It's coaches that I work with. It's people that I work with. I have a couple of accountability groups that I'm in. We have prayer.
Our prayer groups.
Yeah. And so, but that investing has to be in me.
Okay.
Because if we don't take care of ourselves,
can't really take care of anybody else.
If we don't have self-care, we can't take care of anybody else. And I'm not saying that, don't get the codependent and the people-pleasing thing in there. I'm saying we can't be there, and we can't be a strength for somebody if we're weakened.
Would you say that this is kind of like when you're in an airplane and the oxygen masks drop off, and you put it on yourself first before you start helping and doing that?
That's exactly it.
You basically are saying, I am going to make sure I'm investing so I can be alive to help other people as I do this. Now I'm putting it on them. I'm helping other folks along the way. So for us, it's talking about investing in myself.
Yes.
So you're talking, if you're a business owner, investing on how you make your business better, how do you work with other coaches or mentors, books that you read out there, maybe seminars. Is that what you're kind of talking about?
Yeah, that kind of stuff for me. Yeah, and so I limit the number of live events that I'll go to in a year. Okay. Mainly for finances, but there's some other reasons. It's like who you listen to matters.
Yes.
And so I look at folks and I see some that I've been listening to that they're kind of going a path I really don't want, or their company is going a path that leads me to believe they're no longer in charge.
Got it.
They may be president, CEO, whatever, but their
there's a board that's moving.
There's a board that's moving, and
it's moving in a different direction.
And it doesn't get down to the what the main vision was. Doesn't get down to the rank and file. And we know that in church, if we don't if we don't cast a vision,
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
So you're investing in yourself to be someone that can be a better leader, that can build into other people, make a legacy, if you will.
Right, exactly, and you're exactly right. And if I don't do that, the people who are going to hold me accountable first, well, family, but they're over there in that student building.
Oh yeah, with the kids,
because they're going to know, hey, you didn't prepare that lesson, you winged it or whatever, and you can't do that.
Yeah, so we're investing in ourselves to be in a better place to invest in other people.
To invest in others.
So the end, what's the end?
I wasn't ready to go there, but now I had to. Oh, well, here we go. No procrastination.
I remember you talking about this. That's what I thought it was. I love how that worked. I don't know, what is it?
Right. So one of my, we are a recovery church, and that is one of my issues is procrastination. And so here's the thing. Here's what happens, and it snowballs. If I don't do what I need to do in the morning, and I decide, maybe I'll take a nap. Well, I have this thing I really should do over here, but I put that off, so I take the nap. So, when I get up, I'll feel better and everything else, right? Right. And so you just put it off. And those of us who struggle with procrastination know that that's what we do. Or we have this project that we know has a deadline of tomorrow at noon.
Sure.
Right? And but there's this little thing over here. I could do this, and then I could get 3 or 4 things done because we don't want to get that done.
Yeah, no,
right?
That doesn't work either.
And it doesn't. And we know it, but we still
it's easy
do
to it's easy to fall into that. So you're saying a healing process would be, I got to eliminate procrastination out of my mindset.
Yeah, it has to. It has to go away. You have to be able to.
So get it done, basically.
Get it done, is what it boils down
just
to.
go do it. The Nike sign, do it. Just go do it. So, you got that. So we have this intentionality, this live intentional kind of idea, investing in ourselves, no procrastination whatsoever. When it does happen, we need to be aware of it, so we don't let that continue on to slow the whole process down. Because if we're procrastinating, we may not go and do the healthy habits that you were talking about at the beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Yeah. That just makes sense. The reason why I ate McDonald's today is because yesterday we came back from a football game. It was around 7:00. We were pretty beat. It was a spring championship game. Our grandson lost. His team lost, but that was okay. They got to the championships. But I was tired, and I was gonna go. Okay, I'll just go to the store, get some food to prepare a meal. And I just went. No, I went telling him, nope, I'll wait till tomorrow, which I'm going to be doing. I have the list in my pocket. And all
there you go.
But I procrastinated, so then I didn't have a lunch. So I ate McDonald's, and now I feel horrible. Okay, it's just my body. I'm not saying anything horrible about McDonald's.
No.
But what I'm saying is that my body cannot eat that food. Not with after cancer and all this stuff. So it's just bad for me. So we got this no procrastination thing, which can hit us in stuff like this. Simple little things like, oh gosh, I just ate here because I was too lazy to go do that.
Right.
But we're talking about bigger things, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah. And then the G.
God-centric.
God-centric. Can you explain that?
Gaze at God all the time. Glance at the issues. Everything needs to revolve around His will and His purpose for my life. And some people get purpose really confused. Well, my purpose is to run this big corporation. No, your purpose is to serve God first. And until business people who are Christians, because there's a difference between being a Christian businessman and a business person who is Christian. Okay, you stop and think about it. But the purpose of their business and the purpose is not to serve God first. It's not to do His will first. It's to, I have to earn an income. I got all these employees to, I got boom, 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 responsibilities. But the responsibility is first to God. And, we're human. We get into a crisis mode at home. You know what I'm going through there. And so where's the God focus in that? And this is I will say that, even through the situation we talked about earlier, without going into detail, I now know where my granddaughter stands. Or my niece, where she stands and her knowledge of salvation and Jesus Christ. And so that was eye-opening for me. because we hadn't had that conversation before. And so now that opens up a whole new realm. Now, if I hadn't been open to that, if I had just been upset about the situation and upset about the other person, I would have never listened to her, And so God has to be to the center of all that. And hey, look, the situation is not the best. And I struggle. I struggle with keeping the situation at home.
Oh, okay, home situation. It go back to the explanation. He's got an entire family living with him from Ukraine. That's his family, but they had to come out here, and out of safety reasons and everything else, of course, because they were in Kiev, which was a horrible situation. And that's awesome. They're here, but that adds a lot of dynamic to the home. So I just wanted you guys to know why sometimes we assume people will know that, but that's the reason why.
But if I can maintain that God-centered view on that, and like we talked last week, pray and listen,
real important.
It's very important. And then I know that God will answer those prayers. Now, I don't know how, I don't know what the answer is, but if I pray, if I listen, if I do what I need to do when it comes to my prayer and keep God in the middle of the whole situation, it'll work out.
That's how we were talking about the cycle last week, the prayer cycle. What you're just talking about is that I know God. My God-centric mindset is I know God hears my prayers. I know God answers those prayers, and we talked about that as yes, no, or wait.
Right.
If I listen to his answers through his word, through the people he has in my life, through a lot of different means, then I'm open to change.
Right.
And that's the beginning part of this whole cycle. And I become more God-centric.
Yes.
So I'm changing to become more like Jesus. My prayers start becoming more centered on Jesus. Because of that, when God hears, he's going, there we go.
Right.
There we go.
Now
my will be done, not yours.
Now you get it.
And then answering those prayers, however he's going to answer it. And if he says no, when we're in a God-centric setting, when we're in an idea of growing and being filled with the Spirit and living out the fruit of the Spirit in our lives, the no is okay.
Yeah.
The no is okay because God's in charge of it.
God's in charge.
And then that way we can listen even better and it rotates again. So going back through all this stuff. So you have healthy habits, basically as the H, right? And then we find ways to energize ourselves, right?
Yes.
Can you explain a little again about that, the energizing ourselves?
So I think the one topic I have a morning routine.
That's right.
But the other way to energize yourself is get moving.
Yeah, just get going.
Yeah,
one step, big deal.
1 foot in front of the other. It doesn't matter. Some days I wake up and I have back issues. I have a compression belt I can put on or decompression belt, and I can go for a walk and get moving. And
so that's
one way to get energized.
The energized side of it, which is real important. Then activate our minds, right? Get our minds activated. Start going, okay, I'm getting this mind that God made going. Living intentionally, which would be the L, just to remind ourselves, correct? And the intentionality of our lives, of what I'm getting done. The I again was invest. That's right, invest in yourself. And that's something I do struggle with. That I don't, I'll read and do all that stuff, but I don't go to conferences. I just haven't done a lot of that, honestly, for probably 5 or 6 years. So that's something I probably need to look into again. At least do something to kind of look into that. But I do look for other means to invest in myself. The no procrastination, that hits everybody hard.
It does.
And I know that I'm procrastinating on another book, and that knowing it is not very fun when you know you're doing that.
No.
And so that's not good. And then the God-centric side of it, that one, to me, that's the today is my favorite day mindset. It's just, I'm going to look at God. I'm going to gaze at him, glance at the problem.
That's where that came from.
Okay, there we go. So the glance at the problem, that makes total sense.
That's where that came from. Yeah.
And so for you, and you've got this acronym, this acrostic that helps you to stay in a healing mindset and being mindful of God's work in this whole thing. Yes. And that you have some responsibility.
Yes.
The mind of man plans his ways. The Lord directs his steps. Yeah. That's right out of Proverbs 16:9. And so thank you for sharing that, because that's
well, and the thing is that we look at healing, and I will tell you, I'm not completely healed.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
I just keep going forward.
Yeah.
Keep going forward.
Well, you said healing. It wasn't healed.
Yeah.
Your acronym or acrostic is healing.
Yes.
Preposition. It's going to be continually going. Yes, it's going to keep on going, and that's a process that continues to go. And so I thank you for sharing the idea of this continuous process of healing in our lives that comes from a God-centric lifestyle. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And today is my favorite day. Obviously, Sam and myself.
Live intentionally. Be very, very blessed, my friends.
Do that.
We'll see you later. Bye.
Thank you for listening to TIMFD, Today is My Favorite Day. Views, comments, and opinions are those of the host and guest alone, and Dave and Sam are solely responsible for the content of this podcast. TIMFD is produced and directed by Alex Korn. Music is composed and performed by Chuck Fott. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, live intentionally, and be very blessed.